You know the drill.
Come on.
Keeping it real. Let's go.
Let's get ready to
Rumble. Got him.
Just so y'all know, I didn't want to open with that, but I was forced.
She obliged. That's what marriage is about. You feel me? Give and take.
A lot of giving.
That's a lot to give. Because I deserve a lot.
You do.
So do you. So what did you want to talk about?
Okay, so thanks for everybody that tuned into our first episode, which was the introduction to the Poolers.
It was
Keeping
awesome.
It real. It was a lot of fun to make, and it's pretty cool that people actually tuned in to hear what we have to say, right?
I felt cool. Special.
I definitely feel special.
You are special.
Yeah, because all of you guys are special, so
I agree.
yeah. So this week we would really want to just share with you all who we were.
It's important to know who you are, who you were, to know where you're going.
Yeah. So we're going to share with you guys what our life was like before we started living for Jesus. The things we got into, the things that we experienced, all of that good stuff.
Because really, all it's about is realizing that when you're living for God, you're putting God first in your life, which means that what He thinks about you, what He says about you, what his opinion of you is, how you guide your life is kind of based upon what He thinks is best. It's not some mystical idea. He's supernatural enough for you to just be human and let God lead you in every single step that you take in your life.
Yes, I would agree. But prior to that, prior to even knowing God, we didn't have all that.
No.
And so we made decisions based off of what we thought was best for us as individuals.
So I'm not going to beat around the bush. What were some decisions that you made before you finally gave yourself to Jesus all the way?
Whew. Where do we even begin? There was a plethora of bad choices made in my early 20s. My mother used to tell me...
Hold on. Should I be nervous or is it going to be good?
I
kidding.
think you'll be able to handle it.
Good. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
I'm
And
ready.
I think everybody else will be able to handle it too.
Good. Keep it.
What about you?
I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know. It's scary. I'm just kidding. It's good. It's good. We're keeping it real. 100, not 99.
So my mother used to say to me that she never wanted to relive her 20s. And now that I'm going into my 30s, I actually understand why.
Really?
Yeah, my 20s were pretty rough. They were not easy, I would say, by a long shot.
Some people say they're like that's the age range that you're kind of exploring what it's like to be an adult, but also still kind of growing out of your teens.
Yeah. And your brain, I guess your brain isn't fully developed.
Mine was fully developed.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Beyond science?
I mean, what science?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So you gotta have some fun. You gotta have some fun. Okay, so you were saying your mom said that the 20s was not something that she wanted to relive.
No. Because she said it was very difficult.
Okay.
Lots of hard lessons. I guess someone's at our house.
So if you get a ring, just make sure that you turn it off when you are trying to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm turning it off now.
So yeah, my 20s were full of bad decisions, bad choices, some good ones, like I finished college.
That's amazing. Hold up, let's clap it up. All right.
What about you?
Well, my 20s were rough. I graduated college as well. Clap it up. But yeah, 20s were definitely an interesting experience to say the least. Going to college was amazing. If your parents are telling you to go, it's an awesome experience. I had an athletic scholarship, so my parents didn't pay anything. You're welcome. But it was like the amazing experience. I went to a major Division 1A school the University of Maryland. It's an awesome school, College Park, Maryland. Shout out to my Dirty Terps. Shout out to my Terrapin family. They're pretty awesome. It just was a really cool experience. I got to the college town and it was like a whole city based upon like the school.
Yeah.
So it was like you saw memorabilia everywhere, posters of players from the past and present. You can go to different restaurants and people almost knew your name. It was amazing. But in that environment, it breeded some level of like
Bad behavior?
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. So, you know, being in that environment in college kind of caused me to think a certain way. It led me to a level of entitlement that wasn't necessarily well warranted. You know, as a human being, everybody is, well, I've learned this recently that the playing field is level at the cross. So whether you're a doctor or whether you are somebody who is homeless on the street, Jesus, you know, we all kind of have to meet him at the cross the same way.
Yeah.
So for me to have that level of entitlement for no other reason but that I was good at a sport kind of makes it strange for a human being, you know, and just being in that environment on a continual basis caused me to think a specific way. And living there, being at the school, how people respond to you, they give you free stuff, they slap you 5, you get extra like privileges that other people don't necessarily get, being stopped by the police plenty of times, being guilty of some things, and cops kind of being like, man, it's like, get back safely, and make sure everything is okay. Now, obviously, I don't want to cause anybody to lose their job, but it was some interesting things that happened when I was at school, to say the least. Mm-hmm. But to get some more information, like you were saying, your mom said that the 20s were rough, but even before that, before your 20s, as a young woman, was God always in the picture for you? Who were you? How did you get your identity as somebody who is young, trying to at least do the right thing? Because your mom raised you the right way. I wouldn't have married her if she didn't.
Yeah. Shout out to my mom. She did. My mom and dad did a wonderful job. I think that when I became a teenager, for me, I started to feel like I wanted to fit in more with the other kids and with the other students. And as I continued growing and aging, I wanted even more to have that validation from the people that were around me. And because I was seeking that validation, it was almost like I was unable to see the value that God actually instilled on the inside of me, on who I am.
Wow.
Yeah. And so with that being kind of where my mindset was, I think I started to devalue myself so that I could feel more valued from other people.
Wow.
And just to say this, anytime you have to devalue who you are as an individual to fit in with people around you, that's an indication that those people are not really people you should be around.
That's a good point. I heard you say something that was really poignant, right? That was one of our favorite words, poignant. I'm not going to get her to say it now, but it's pretty cool.
I never say it right. I always mispronounce it.
You mentioned identity and getting it from your friends. How much would you say is weighted upon the relationships that you have as a young person in the success that you get or the trajectory that you take?
Yeah, so I feel like who you spend your time around is an indication of where you're going to go or where you are currently. So my parents would always tell me, if you want to be, a business owner, you need to spend your time around other business owners. If you want to be a physician, you need to spend your time with doctors. If you want to be a lawyer, you need to spend your time with lawyers. If you want to be a singer or learn how to play the piano, spend your time doing those things. And so unfortunately, a lot of times society gets things misconstrued. You want to be cool, hang out with the cool kids.
So what were some of the things that the cool kids were doing that you participated in that you may not have participated in from this side of things?
So one of the biggest things is substance abuse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
As a teenager?
Not really as a teenager, but definitely age 9. Well, actually 19. Yeah.
That's it.
That's a teenager.
I'm just kidding.
It's
Just
okay.
kidding.
No, but yeah, definitely feeling peer pressure. Did you deal with a lot of peer pressure?
Not so much. Only
Really?
because, yeah. I mean, from the jump, as a baby, my mom said like, she told me one time, she said, "Who's the boss?" Right? And as a little baby, I told my mom like, "I'm the boss." So you can imagine, you know, growing up, I kind of had my own thought process. Like I wore different clothes than everybody else. I used like different slang words than everybody else. So I kind of was interested in like creating my own trend. I tried to walk to the beat of my own drum. Now, did I feel peer pressure? 100%. Did I necessarily succumb to it? Not so much.
That's good.
That's
good.
I mean, it was okay, you know, because it let me, being somebody who thinks the way I just talked about thinking, you know, causes you to get in trouble sometimes.
I see, like a big man on campus kind of thought process.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Essentially. But you got to have people to follow you. So, like, I was kind of like thinking I'm doing my own thing. And if people follow me, they do. If not, then I'm just going to continue to do my thing.
Yeah. You're your own person.
Yeah. But I was really interested in you know, just the thought process of who was Chanel that as a middle schooler, or who was Chanel as somebody in high school. Like what made you who you were at that time, and why is that significant as far as, you know, your walk with God now?
I think one of the biggest things that I felt as a child and into my high school life was just feeling like an outsider. Feeling like, man, I don't fit in elementary school. I don't really fit in middle school. Actually, in middle school, I got bullied a lot.
I
Like,
bully
a lot.
bullies. I'm just kidding. Bullying is not cool. So if you're involved in it, please stop. If you've harmed somebody with your words, please go apologize. We don't like bullies.
No.
So being bullied, you know, in middle school, did that cause you to act out?
Yes. I made a promise to myself that I was never going to get bullied again. So, and that thought process kind of took me down a long, deep spiral of bad decisions.
So drive us down it.
Yeah, I like that. So yes, feeling ostracized was one of the biggest things that I dealt with, and because I felt ostracized, I did a lot of things that were not good. Like I had a stealing problem. I enjoyed
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Oh
I'm
my
just,
God.
you gotta move over a little bit when you hear stuff like that. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
I like
She doesn't steal anymore.
I don't steal anymore.
She stole my heart.
Oh.
You know, I gotta show you. Got to tell people I love my wife. I love my wife.
Oh my gosh.
What? I'm sorry.
I'm blushing. Okay. So, yeah, I had a stealing problem, like kleptomania type. I enjoyed the thrill of a good steal.
Where's my wallet?
I took it.
I haven't found it in weeks. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Klepto.
Klepto. Yes.
Good old klepto pooler. Just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
kidding. That's who she was. It's under the blood. It's under the blood.
That's who I was. Who
Okay.
we were.
Were. I'm
We
sorry.
were.
One more time.
Yeah. And one specific time when I was 19, I remember going into a store with a friend at the time. And
Not a good friend.
no, actually, I wasn't the good friend.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, I was the bad influence in this one.
Oh
Yeah. Like I said, I did it for a thrill.
no. So like an adrenaline junkie, or like?
Yeah, like the thought of being able to do something and getting away with it was just like, who's the boss?
Wow.
Like,
So we
that's-
both kind of shared in that boss mentality, just in some different
And
ways.
mine was illegal. But, yeah, and so I remember just going from store to store, just take a little here, take a little there, take a little. Then people would actually tell me, hey, when you go to do your thing, could you get me this and get me that?
That's crazy.
So I would say, sure, for
No.
a small fee.
I gotta ask you, during these times when you're doing this, right? You said it's a thrill, and obviously there was some level of like a euphoric feeling that you got from doing it. But was there some level of conviction? Because I know that you said that your mom took you to a Billy Graham concert, or not concert, but preaching.
Yeah.
And that impacted you because somebody prayed for you there. And I'm sure they spoke words of encouragement over you at that time frame that impacted you, because you still remember it.
I do, yes. So before I had a relationship with God, I didn't know what like a understanding of what a relationship with Jesus is. Like how I have as of now, currently. Before that, I didn't really know what having a conviction was, but what I can say is I always felt like a tinge on the inside of me where I knew, this isn't a good thing that I'm doing. I don't know if other people or if any of you all have ever experienced that, but it's almost like a little thing inside of your heart that kind of makes you feel like, like it makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, have you ever felt that?
Oh, many times.
Give an example.
Okay, so I, for the first time when I was going to go drinking with my friends, it's like I could hear my mom's voice in the background, like, you better not do that, boy. And my dad was like, ooh, you gonna hear your mother's mouth when you get back.
Oh yeah, that sounds like Mr. Fuller.
So, shout out to my pops and my mom. I still hear their voice, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, and sometimes it's like, man, this, shh. You want to tell them to be quiet sometimes, but no, seriously, I was gonna go to this party with my friends, and this is like my first party. I'm feeling like yes. At the same time, I'm feeling like no. So it just was a moment in time where, like, you know, I had an opportunity to fly in a different airspace, if you will. I didn't have to be in that same place as everybody else. Everybody else was drinking. They didn't pressure me. I was looking at it myself like, man, I want to try this. So I tried it. And to be honest with you, the whole time I felt like I wasn't supposed to be doing it. So I learned that it's important not to keep pushing past that point, because that's what I felt like I kept doing. That level of like, you shouldn't try that. Well, I was like, man, you know what? I'm just going to try it. And then that just it went from alcohol to marijuana, and from marijuana to other drugs, right? And those type of things were experimental at the time, but I just kept searing my conscience. So if you feel like you're, you know, going to go in that direction and you feel that, listen to it, because the road that is, you know, that conscience is trying to protect you from is a dark and dreary place, and it's difficult to get out of that place once you've gone down that road.
That is so true. It's so easier to find yourself in a bad situation. It's like it happens so quick, but it is so difficult and a slow, long process to get out.
So after all of these decisions, right, you still in and you you said it.
Yeah, I know.
No, but being a part of those things and then being bullied, did that leave you in a place where you felt defeated? Did you have like a light bulb that you know, proverbial light bulb that came above your head that made you say like, I need to try something else? Or was it just like you said, that slow grinding process that left you kind of in a, I'm gonna use the word pit or hole, that you dug yourself into that kind of made you reach or look up? Or were you looking up the whole time? How did that kind of transpire for you?
I actually got caught.
Oh, there's blessings in getting caught doing things you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I would say that it was the mercy of God that I got caught.
Wow.
I would say it was him being merciful, because if I didn't get caught, I mean, I would probably still be stealing.
Praise the Lord, you got caught.
Yeah.
Did you have to wear an orange jumpsuit?
No, but I did go to jail.
For real?
Yeah.
Do they fight in jail?
I don't know. I had a great conversation with this lady.
That's funny. Who can imagine this face in jail? I knew about it before we got married.
But
and I
that's
still
who
chose.
I was.
Was. But it's a part of your story, though.
It is.
I think that's the coolest part about, what we're doing here, right? We're opening up our books, right? Our lives. The Bible calls us like epistles. That means like a letter. Essentially, God is writing our story. So without you being in jail, without me drinking and I got arrested a couple times too, doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Being put in that position kind of leaves you feeling low. But I learned something today that your failure isn't final. So if you made mistakes here, right, as long as you keep going in the right direction, your ending is going to be better than where you started at.
Amen. That's good.
I stole that from somebody special to me. There's no intellectual property here. So if you hear something that works for you and you want to share it with somebody else, please do.
Yeah. Pass it forward.
Please. I'm interested though. So in college, what was that like for you? Like, what was it the same, more the same peer pressure? People kind of pushing you or bullying you to make you respond a specific way, or how did college work out for you?
The first half of college was very much just a slew of bad decisions that landed me in jail. And then it was definitely a rude awakening for me because, like I said, you can make a poor decision. It could get you could make that decision so quick, and then a 5-minute bad decision could take a year, 2 years, 10 years to get out of. Thankfully, because I did get caught, the mercy of God was on my life, and He placed some really good people in my path to help me get out of that situation. And I was scared straight. No more kleptomaniac Chanel. Like, from that point forward, I knew that I had to make some better decisions.
That's good news though.
Yeah.
It's good news. My story kind of, I'm gonna fast forward it because it's quick. High school, obviously, like I said, I was kind of feeling myself, doing my own thing. I'm trying to be something, trying to portray something, right? I didn't necessarily have an identity yet, but I was trying to figure it out according to what I saw either in rap videos or on TV, as far as ESPN athletes, or even people that I read about in books. But I missed the right book. And I remember telling my mom something as a kid. I told her that I wanted to be a minister. Like, as a young man, I looked up and I said, I want to be him, right? The minister who was ministering at that time. I remember the day because in the backdrop there was like a cross that was lit up, and who knows, right, what that means from that point forward. But that was always in the back of my mind, that thought process, that at some point I was going to have to do what I do now for the Lord, minister. But all the while going through high school,
Wait. So how old were you?
I want to say like 3 or 4 years old. So I was young, maybe 2 years old.
Very young.
Yeah.
So you knew from a child, from a little boy, what you were intended to do, essentially.
Essentially, my mom hates when I tell this story, but when I was a baby, I don't know if it was in the hospital room when they transfer the mothers to after they give birth, but she lifted me up and told God that I belonged to Him and that my life would belong to Him. And then she kind of kept me in a church environment long enough where I kind of had a set of morals and ethics that kind of built up who I was supposed to be. And I always said that, man, I love God. I'm only going to do what God wants me to do. Not understanding at that point what that meant. But then I kind of got tired of being like the good guy, and I was like, you know what? Like, it's time to live. If you're a good guy, good girl, stay that way. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. But yeah, going through high school, playing sports, I let that identify me. Being an athlete, being somebody who, people thought was cool at some point. I let that identify me, and that's not what God wanted to identify me as.
Yeah.
So living your life as somebody else, you know, you pick up this, you pick up that, you wear this, you wear that, but there's no level of fulfillment in your life. So I'm talking to this girl and that girl and friends with this person and that person and this relationship, that relationship, and none of it really blended or gelled with who I was. I was just being who I thought people thought that I should be at that time. And, you know, wearing those different hats kind of confused me. Because in the back of my mind, I still had that idea, like, I'm God's person. What does God want me to be? And going through all of those different things, you know, you meet different people along the way who give you advice. And like you had said, look, that advice is dictated by, you know, that person. So if I'm in the wrong circles, right, the people that I'm hearing from probably not going to give great advice.
Right.
But I was lucky to have some OGs that told me, like, man, straighten up and fly right. Find out what you're supposed to do. I don't think you're supposed to be on the corner at this time. You're not supposed to be doing that right now, type stuff. So, you know, it took all the way until, like, being a grown man that I finally got to the place where I feel like God kind of let me know what you felt as a young boy. That's what I need you to do. But all the while, you know, I have like I said, a lifetime of decisions like you. Mine wasn't necessarily stealing. I was more of the ladies' man. And it wasn't, I never was trying to do any of that, really. It just was me trying to fill a void in my life that only he could fill. He allowed me to fill the void. As I was trying to fill it, it never felt full. So it was always me just searching, let me try this, let me try that. Entrepreneur this, business that, girlfriend here, girlfriend there, start something, this not it, it's not it. So it just was a lifetime of searching until I found, or we found each other. I finally said yes and did what he asked me to do.
So did you have to hit a place of, like, rock bottom in order to actually get to the place where you could say that you found Jesus?
I hit the bottom. If there is a Jonah in real life, I'm him. I legit lost my mind. Like, I got Baker acted. I had to go to 2 facilities to kind of get my mind frame normal. And in those places, God never left me. People think you're in those positions or you've ever been in that position, coming back from or rebounding from that position, you don't have to stay there.
No.
God literally met me in a mental institution. He gave me dreams there. He spoke encouraging words to me there. He sent people to me to help me there. So I didn't feel like, I knew I was by myself, but like as far as me, but I wasn't by myself. I knew that God was with me. So being in those different places kind of opened my eyes to God speaking to everyone. He literally speaks to everyone. So if you feel like God is telling you to go to a church, please go to a church. If you feel like God is telling you open your Bible, open your Bible. If he leads you to some people that are living the right way, don't be standoffish towards them. Put your walls down, because I had a lot of walls that I erected because of people that I felt mistreated me. And once I forgave those people, because God told me to forgive those people, it was an opportunity for me now to have real relationships based upon his identity for me, not my identity that I was trying to portray to other people. I had an epiphany moment though, like you. At rock bottom, my name is not Ben. My mom named me Benjamin. And if you get a chance, look up what Benjamin means in the Bible versus Ben. Or long story short, I realized my name has significance and God gave me that name. So because he gave me the name, from that point forward, he began to kind of establish who I was as a person. Long story, trying to make it short. Oh, and I found the Sanctuary Seminole. Thanks to my aunt. She really helped me out as far as connecting me to a great place to worship God. A church that isn't necessarily focused on like lights and all of this other stuff. Yeah, we want to have stuff looking professional. We want to make sure that, you know, we're worshiping God in excellence and there's order, but it was pure love for Jesus in this environment.
And worship.
People worshiping God, young kids crying and praying and singing. And I was like, man, I feel weird here. But it was me. It wasn't them. So I realized I have to get a hold of what they have a hold of. And that was a journey in itself. But I'm thankful to God that, you know, I'm here.
Yes, that's beautiful. I can honestly say that in the end of the bad decision making, God, He gave me a new start. He wiped my slate clean. So those charges were dropped,
That's cool.
wiped away, just as God restored your mind. But we're going to share more of that in part 2.
Thank you for joining us. This was a little bit longer, but you know, those explanations and going into detail a little bit is important, so you don't miss anything that may be pertinent to you. If you're in a situation, you know, don't think you have to stay there. If it's dark in your life right now, man, it says that you know, light shined into darkness, and darkness couldn't pin it down or comprehend it. So God's waiting to shine His light into your life. Just make sure you keep stepping, keep loving, keeping your eyes open, and looking for people who are from God to your life, and pray for them, because He'll send them.
Yes, He will. So listen, guys, please tune in for part 2. This is who we were. Our next episode is who we are.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of those good things. Please take part in this with us. Let us know what you think, how you feel, and we want to interact with you. We love you. This is Keeping It Real.
Oh, are you keeping it real?
Keeping it real.
Yeah, I'm keeping it real. I'm promise.
50%?
Nah, probably like 80. I'm about 100. I'm keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100?
100.
Keeping it 100.
Let's go.
Bye.